Hello, my name is Maria Virtanen and I work as a curator at the Finnish Museum of Photography in Helsinki, Finland. Last year I coordinated a project in which 7 Finnish museums adopted an online information service called Ask the Museum. And in this presentation I'm going to discuss how did we first at my museum, at the Finnish Museum of Photography, came up with the idea of having such an eye tool for museum, and then what happened as we carried out the idea and developed it. And of course it all started with the questions. Around 2009, 2010, we noticed at the Finnish Museum of Photography that our curators, conservators and photographers answered to quite many questions as part of the weekly routines. Sometimes the questions were very simple and easy to answer. Sometimes they were more precise. And many of these questions, they were not about our collections. They were about people's own photographs, or for example photographs of other museums. And sometimes the questions were not about photographs as an object at all, or they were more about intangible heritage concerning photography, for example photographic practices of the past. And of course there was nothing wrong with these questions. We have a role as a national special museum of photography in Finland, and information service is a very important part of what we do in our museum. We were very happy to answer and be able to help people. But the problem we indicated was that the conversation and communication only happened between the one who asked and the one who answered. So there was no mark left to the memory of our museum that this conversation ever happened. Maybe it was in some email of the curator who answered it, but it was in nowhere else. And we realized that we were producing information that we might as well have published very easily when we were answering these questions. In telephone calls, in emails and such a ways. And then we realized that we needed a tool to solve this problem. And this tool should be for the public, easy to use and to approach us and ask for our information. And for us, it should be an easy way to share our expertise online as really part of our daily routines. And we thought that it might be also nice that it would be up to be a questions and answers data bank of our field of expertise. And what we also would like to have to do with this tool is to gain the knowledge from the public, because of course the museum does not know everything about a certain subject. There might be someone else that knows it better. So in 2011 we introduced the first version of the Ask the Museum online service at our museum, and it had a slogan that ask us anything about photography. It was only in Finnish, so you are not able to read what the question in this case, for example, is. But anyhow, people took it very well. They sent out the questions, and the feedback was very positive that we received. And then we thought that it might be useful for other museums as well. And about 1.5 years later, this year in January, a step further was taken, and 6 other Finnish museums adopted this service. Before they adopted it, we developed it a bit further, so the system was better than in 2013 than it was in 2011 when it was launched. And out of these 6 other museums that adopted the service, 5 of them are national special museums, like we are at the Finnish Museum of Photography, and one is, at least in Finland, quite big museum, Helsinki City Museum. The basic idea of the service is very simple. Every participating museum has an own Ask the Museum website, and anyone can send a question related to museum's field of expertise. And then the member of the staff who knows most about the subject answers within a week. The reason that this image is in English is that the City Museum of Helsinki, they made also an English and Swedish version of their Ask the Museum page. And of course, images can be attached to questions, because quite often people ask about objects or photographs. And then we answer the questions, and afterwards we publish most of the questions and answers at the museum website of each museum. And what is important, we publish them without any names, so there will be no way that somebody could track down who has asked that particular question. So each museum's own Ask the Museum website is going to gradually build up to be a public data bank of museum's field of expertise and knowledge. This is the Ask the Museum website of a design museum in Finland, and I think in our museum's website there is over 200 published questions and answers at this moment. And of course, published answers can be browsed and searched in this website, and it is possible to add comments on them. Sometimes if we know something about the subject, we write it down and publish the answer, but we also write that if you know anything more about this subject, then please add a comment. And there is a front end, which is public, and then there is a back end that each museum has as internal database. And in the back end, museum administrates the questions and images and comments, and museum can send from the back end the answers as emails. And in there, museum edits the questions and answers to be published, and adds keywords and can classify the questions as well. So backend contains statistical information of museum's information service. Like in this diagram, I can see that in my museum the most wanted subject is questions of old photographers and photographic companies. They are the most questioned subject we have at my museum. So the back end, as well as the front end, builds up to be a database or data bank. This is internal database. Once the question is solved, museum staff can always find it again from this database. So you don't have to search for the answer again to certain kind of question. And we can also add questions and answers and images that have not been sent from the Ask the Museum website. So we can use it as a storage of museum, other kind of things, that museum collections, that is in tangible heritage or even museum static knowledge. Next steps for the Ask the Museum network, which has this image of the main page of the whole network in this slide. Next steps will be taken probably by the end of this year, as Finnish National Board of Antiquities is taking over the responsibility to develop this system further, and then to coordinate the process in which maybe new museums adopt the system. And well, we are looking forward that Asko Museum system can be brought into use in other Finnish museums as well, or even nationwide. If you have any questions or comments, you can send me an email, and there is some addresses, web pages that you can go to see. The one of the Helsinki City Museum is in English, so it will be easier to understand. So thank you.